How much is that hitch in your Drawstroke costing you?
The Black Arch Protoss holster is the only hybrid-like holster that I can recommend. It does everything that a holster needs to do and is great for strong side carry. They're part of our holster consortium. Go check them out at the link in the description.
Hey guys, Brian Hill with The Complete Combatant. Welcome to Suck Less Saturday. I oftentimes in class see what I like to call a rogue or an exile program left over from beginning methodology. What we usually do in the beginning is we teach Drawstroke in 4 or 5 parts. And the problem, it violates the psychological rule of 3. We can't really hold a stack quite that long. It's a great training frame, but something begins to take precedence over it. We also really express the need to get the support hand on the gun as soon as possible. Unfortunately, that's relative to the speed that the primary hand is moving. So if I have a very quick draw, my hand's moving quickly this way, this hand may not come on right here. It would be best practice if it did, but if I'm really moving fast, it may not happen realistically, is what we see in high-speed video. So what do we do instead? We stop. And what I see a lot of people do is they have a great draw stroke, and then they stop right here, and then they drive the gun out. So they're confirming the grip instead of finishing the draw. Then I hear justifications such as, I'm seeing the sights sooner. All right. If you can see the sights well here, you have to compromise the grip because the wrist is at a poor angle here. So you are compromising the grip to see something sooner that you'll have to fix on the way out, which is the opposite of getting your hand on the gun sooner. And then for a lot of people, it's just simply, I'm going to make sure I have a sure grip before I move forward. And stopping motions always have a physical problem, and it costs you time. All right. So you may have a better information related outcome, but a worse untimeliness in your draw stroke. So this weekend in class, I had the best of both worlds against each other. I had a guy with a lot of real world experience, very good with a handgun, very tactical by nature. His credentials are impeccable. And then I had a guy who is well educated from the private sector and has really pushed himself. So I had the tactical accuracy and I had the performance speed dude. All right, and I kept seeing something over and over, and I could see the difference in their draw stroke. Always the same errors. All right, too much time for the tactical guy and too little vision for the performance guy. And that seems to be very common, so we can let that argument go. They would be better served if they were both timely and had enough information to do it. But I got to measure it, all right? I got to see what it cost. And then at the end of the class, I had them compete head to head so I could measure it, because it's a bit manipulative, but I'm the coach and I get to gather information as I like. And I always wondered exactly what the hitch cost you, all right? And what the hitch cost you is a 1/4 second to a 1/2 second, all right? The difference between the two draws was a 125 and a 175. It's shooting 2 rounds on a 4-inch circle, which is a high-level accuracy target. We were at 3 yards. They have to draw as quickly as they can, and they had a follow-up shot. So it gives me a good basis in performance mode of what we're actually going to see. And what the time was, the stop and then move again. Okay? So if you think about it physically, you actually have to apply the brakes, then reconstitute the grip, then accelerate the gun again. And now we know for a number that that's about a 1/4 second to a 1/2 second when you do it. All right. What I would suggest is, if you feel like you need to make a better grip, don't stop the gun from moving. Build the grip on the way out. Don't stop. The stopping is the problem. All right. It was a beginning thing where we would hand on the gun, get both hands together, extend the pistol, see the sights touch the trigger. But for this moment, as we've moved beyond that, we're no longer beginners. We're in intermediate and advanced training. And those of you who don't understand that beginnerhood really doesn't last very long. Once you form a series of associations and expectations in your training, you're quickly moving out of being a beginner at that point. And that only happens in a matter of hours for most people. All right. At that point, the instructor has created a framework for you to operate inside of, and as soon as you can, you should smooth it out and keep it moving. So the draw should always be done at speed or at motion without the stop. All right. If you don't like where your hand's joining, get it ready sooner. Get it ready sooner instead of stopping the draw stroke. Thought it was some interesting information for you guys. Some people always argue that it's better to stop and pause and assess, but that's not the argument here. The argument is we're going to draw, we've made the decision to shoot, we're going to see the sights, we're going to press the trigger. This is not a assessment to a fighting position where we're pausing. This is definitely not a ready position because the pistol's pointed towards the target. This is simply you're spending time doing something that may not have a lot of value. The opposite side of this was with the really fast guy. What we saw was the hand didn't come on the gun until almost the last second. All right, very end of the 10th, quarter second, the hand's coming on. So what we have to do is teach his hand to let go of its task and to catch the other one as soon as possible. All right, I hope that helps you guys a little bit, something to think about. Now, if you've got the hitch in your program, the easiest way to get rid of that bad habit is give yourself something better to do. So simply tell yourself, I'm not gonna let the gun stop moving. I don't care the pace that it moves at. I'm going to feel in my mind what the grip feels like, and I'm going to allow myself to manage the feeling of that grip. If it's good, keep the gun moving. If it's bad, fix the grip, but keep the gun moving. And that way you can get a better habit in place of a habit that just simply makes you spend time and doesn't have a lot of value. All right, guys, I hope that helped you out. And as always, measure, refine, and perform. I'm Brian Hill with The Complete Combatant, and I appreciate you watching.